right, this is the Kojima Productions Report number 59, broadcasting from Tokyo. We're just one day after Tokyo Game Show wraps up. I'm your host, Ryan Payton. I'm joined with two familiar guests to this program. It's Mark MacDonald from GameVideos.com.
Hello.
And we got John Ricciardi from 8.4.
Hello.
And just to meet the three of us today, chatting about basically the post-TGS wrap-up, just to maybe go over some stuff that you might have not picked up in the mainstream press. Really just talk about how I think we had a really good show at TGS. I mean,
right.
Big presence.
Yeah. You finally got some sleep today.
Yeah, this is the first time in my life where I think I woke up at 2 in the afternoon. I went to bed at midnight, woke up 14 hours later. That's a first for me.
So how was it? This is because at the show you were not only having to represent the game, but you were also doing PR.
Exactly. Konami US is going through a lot of changes right now, and right now we're in need of we're in transition of having it with PR directors. So in the interim, it was up to me to really kind of set up some appointments with the press. So I invited maybe 20 different outlets to a hotel room that we had, and I let them play Metal Gear Solid 4, the demo version,
which was great because
hour and a half.
Yeah, on the show floor, like you're probably gonna talk about. I mean, even on the press days, there were lines because you guys had a little pre-briefing, and then you let people in to play for 15 minutes. And the little pre-briefings, like Metal Gear Online had its own too, which I made it into, were actually pretty cool. It was really funny. They had it was only 6 of you, and they separated the blue team and the red team, and then you had this stern, hot booth babe, but she was she was very stern and in Japanese, and I just have limited Japanese, but I could tell, she was all right, shut up and sit down, and pointing out stuff, ran you through the controls, and then would quiz people in the audience, as it were, about okay, so how do you
how do you zoom in or whatever?
How do you do the SOP link up system with everybody? And they'd stand up and they'd say triangle button, sir, or whatever, and then salute her. Which
exactly. It's kind of like that dominatrix stuff that I think a lot of Japanese people think you're really into. But this is a female drill sergeant, and then on the MGS4 side, we also had a dude who was doing it, and
there was talk about that, because I didn't actually do that, but I heard about it. It sounded really
so we had
funny.
the command center, and the guy was just the same way, very commanding, just telling people exactly what to expect. And the reason we're doing this is to get people on board with the new control scheme, because you can't really go into this game like you did with Snake Eater.
Right.
And so we just usher these guys into a room, give them the briefing. They got the quiz like you're talking about, and then we would usher those 40 people into the 40 PS3s that we had.
Well, wait, wasn't one person in each group designated as wait a second, there's a spy in here or something like that, and then they were made to stand up and kicked out of the thing?
Yeah, they had some kind of theatrical stuff. I think it was a success, and you guys had said that it's too bad that you can only play for 15 minutes of the demo, because it really does take about an hour to go through your first try, or maybe 45 minutes.
Right.
But during the 2 public days, those on Saturday and Sunday, there was 60,000 people. 70,000 people per day from the public coming to play, and 15 minutes is not a lot of time to play that game, but we had lines where we had to turn people away once the line got to 3.5-hour wait or 4-hour wait for both MGO and MGS4. Wow. So pretty big success, I think, on that side. But it was sad to see people sitting there, really for 3.5 hours,
right,
being so patient, and they're willing to do it, but I was handing out pamphlets as much as I could, to make the wait not as bad.
So
but.
Mark, you played through the demo too. I'm curious, did you die at all?
I did not, but
you didn't. You got to the end of the demo without dying.
Well, we didn't go all the way to the end, but I got to the spot where I was okay, if you walk through that door, the demo will end. But both Ryan and Shane, I think, did die.
Yeah, I died 3 or 4 times too. So.
I love what it shows, the flashbacks that you get actually when you die. It's the new snake, it's the new version of that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Little.
It had this really throbbing, a throbbing sound for the sound effect that plays when you do the game over sound. It's their new. There's always some kind of signature game over song, whatever that we have playing. But for MGS4, we've got the SOP throbbing. You've heard it in the E3 trailer when the soldiers were going over under the Sons of the Patriot system, where they're going crazy, and you can hear this throbbing, kind of weird techno throbbing sound. And that was actually sound designed by a guy at Skywalker Ranch.
Speaking of sounds,
and he did Lord of the Rings and stuff like that.
So
he
really?
Had a lot of cool stuff, and so.
I was going to just say, speaking of sounds, you might have already heard a guy. We're coming to you kind of live from a park in Japan. So like that's the sounds of a guy grabbing cans, cars going by.
Somebody
airplanes.
just went in the porta potty behind us 2
really?
minutes ago. Yeah, hopefully we won't hear that.
A little Johnny Sazak, a little Johnny action going on behind us, maybe.
Yeah, we've got like a train going on in the background. So I thought, it gives a little bit of flavor. We got some bugs kind of crying on in the background too. So it's very natural.
So from your perspective, you were locked in a room for what, the first 2 days?
For 2.5 days, yeah.
2.5 days with the press. So like, what sort of stuff did you notice from the press? Like stuff that surprised you, stuff you didn't expect, people being surprised. Like what was the general kind of reaction?
Yeah, well, I was stuck in a room from 8 a.m. till about 9 p.m. For 2 days, and then the morning of Saturday, showing not only to press but to like clients, guys we work with on the game, and have them actually come in and play the actual the title that they've helped us put together. So I got a lot of cool feedback, and I mean the first day was like really nerve-wracking, and actually you guys came in really early on the first day of TGS to come in and play it, and that was you guys were one of the first people ever to play the game outside of the studio, and I was super nervous because like I mean I started off my presentation saying, look, no sacred cows. I stripped out a lot of the remapped a lot of the controls, like added a context-sensitive action button. So like in previous titles, you'd have the circle button to knock on the wall, but triangle to go up the ladders. All that just totally reworked. So it's put on that one circle or the triangle button, which is context-sensitive. All this kind of stuff. I was just kind of worried that everybody's gonna be looking at me going like, what the hell have you done?
How could you change our wonderful Metal Gear? How could you touch the precious?
Right, like you're not a representative of us, because I am. That's what I've always been in the studios, like this representative of like a Western audience. So, but thankfully, like the reception was really good. I got like a lot of good questions. We're still kind of curious about Octo Camo, even though we've been talking about it for like literally 2 years. Like, we had it in trailers, and I mean, you really could like snake up against either the wall or up to onto the ground, and the suit will recompose that texture onto that suit, and there's literally like hundreds of textures throughout the game.
Yeah, you were saying
you can save and then load up at any time you want to,
which is cool. So you don't have to like be pressing against it, although you probably wouldn't want to use it unless you were like next to that texture, right?
Exactly.
But you had to come up with names for every single.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I was joking.
Texture.
Like the guy who has that job really sucks because you have to literally name 200 different textures, and that job's kind of fallen on my shoulders lately. And it's kind of weird because we have so many different rock textures and wood textures and different kinds of materials. So I'm trying to think of, am I going to go for like the different materials and like get really really scientific with the naming, or am I just going to go for wood texture B or wood texture E or whatever? So I'm going to work on that. But people seem like they're pretty excited about the fact that you can actually save these textures and load them up at different times.
Is there a limit to how many you can save?
As of right now, no, but I'm thinking about adding a number to each of those textures because I just know there's going to be some guy that's going to go and capture every single texture in the game. There's got to be. It's just kind of like
you don't get an achievement.
That's exactly.
You don't get a home trophy for that.
Exactly,
Ryan?
it's a
good idea.
It's the new dog tags, right?
Come on, I want a trophy for collecting every texture in my home. My wonderful.
Well, isn't that if home is out in time for MGS4? Or?
You can leave the hooks for it when it does come out.
But yeah, we're watching home closely. But I think they announced that the open beta is not going to be ready in time for that.
Oh, really? 2 words for home: VR missions.
VR missions.
VR missions.
There you go.
That's the MGS4. I know it's completely impossible to do it in time, but maybe you can just have the virtual version of that booth babe running people through.
I don't know,
yelling questions at them and shit like that.
There's a lot of pressure, for us to participate in home because, that's what you expect from Kojima Productions, right?
Yeah.
Is to take advantage of single thing that the PlayStation has, to offer. But for our development team, it's usually 4 words. It's like focus on.
Right.
Or actually 5 words, focus on the retail game. It's like we can't spend resources on that game, to do home or something when we really got to finish this game and get it out by the end of fiscal. So
one thing about the demo, actually, I can't remember if I asked it or not, but in that demo, is there there's not a dog tag concept, right? You hold guys up and they'll surrender things to you, but not their dog tags. Okay, I was just curious. Well, it's something else like a lot of people picked up upon from when we talked about it in the One-Up Show chat. Like the Rumble when I played wasn't working, but when Shane and Ryan played, it was. And one of the things that they said that they felt was like positional vibration in the controller. So is that's in the game?
Yeah, there's a little. We have a few more things to work with as far as Rumble. I can't really go into the details because, like, to be honest, like we only got it a week before, TGS. We only got the drivers and stuff to actually implement the vibrations. So, yeah, go ahead.
Is it safe to definitively say that the Rumble in the DualShock 3 is better than the Rumble in the DualShock 2?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, because I think that was kind of unclear.
Yeah, so I mean, it feels better, and I think Shane experienced that too. I mean, he was really keeping track, like he was really feeling for a difference, and I think he noticed it too. And I found out actually at TGS while talking to Devil May Cry guys that we weren't the only ones that got the drivers at the very last minute. That it was just like a really last minute push to get the Rumble in time for TGS. So Devil May Cry 4's got it in the PS3 controller, and we had myself and Ken, we had a chance to play the game. And the producer of the game, Kobayashi, he was there to. He's really nice to to take us aside and give us our own time to play the game, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's coming along, and I was really impressed. Actually, not really. I mean, the game, it feels good and looks good, but the trailer, and I talked about this on One Up Yours, but I was really impressed by that trailer they put down. It's not the one on Xbox Live right now. It's not the one on PSN. I don't think they have like a gameplay one, or it's more of like an action-based trailer.
It's up on GameVideos.com.
But no, is that the one with like the more of the cinematics and like it's just like a really story-driven one?
It's like 4 minutes long or something like that.
Because I think they have two different ones. They got like an action-heavy one where it's mostly about narrow.
There's a shorter one. And then there's a longer one. So yeah, there were two.
Because it looks like they're kind of putting together like a trailer like we've done with Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, where it's just kind of tying together all the cutscenes into putting like a kind of a montage of the story. And if these were like really recognizable characters, I think people would be freaking out. But like these are all these characters we've never seen before, so I think like the wow factor. There's less of that wow factor, but it looks cool. I mean, I've never thought of Devil May Cry as having like these story elements, and like Nero's like punching the ground, like he's like pissed off, and like he's going through some kind of problems, and it looked cool. So I was pretty impressed.
The playable is also different. Like it was the same area. I think it might have been it was the same one from Games Convention, but it's different from the one that a lot of people have seen for Devil May Cry 4. Just to talk about that real quick, and there was a lot of stuff that I noticed with it. A lot more like textures, the background stuff looked better. A lot of the objects, like the orbs, actually have little faces on it. Like that first playable was so early. That was a year ago. That was last TGS. This game's still not coming out until next year. So like there are a lot of improvements. It looks better than it even did before, and it looked good before in the first place. So I mean, I'm really really looking forward to that game. Yeah,
the backgrounds especially. It was really what blew me away. I mean, I don't know how much of that is real and how much is like totally fully rendered or not, but I mean, it's really impressive.
Right. Anytime you can not know that stuff too, that means they're doing something
That's
right.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Exactly. I think Smena will be probably impressed.
Oh, yeah. So, Smena,
This is one of our team members at Kojima Productions. He makes like the 3D backgrounds, and he's focusing on the Middle East right now, making stages, and he's become kind of infamous within friends of mine and like
right. So he and you play Gears of War with him.
Exactly, we play Gears. We've played a ton of different games, online games, and like every once in a while we'll invite like people like Mark, and we just.
But he doesn't play the game. I mean, he's a good Gears player whenever I've played with him. But when you played co-op with him, he's not playing the game like a normal person. I mean, he's pretty much obsessed with his job, basically, backgrounds and levels and stuff. And we saw him playing Call of Duty 4, and he was like shooting stuff and seeing if it was part of the background and not, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of becoming a running joke between Mark and Smena, and the three of us. We went out to dinner, and we're talking about let's play Halo 3 when it comes. We can play online co-op, and I was like warning Mark, I was like, whoa, dude! Like if you play co-op with Smena, it's going to take about 8 times longer than normal because he stops at every corner and checks out what textures they're using, like the architecture, how this game flows, like through the level. It's become like a really fascinating exercise for me because I'm still learning a lot about level design, and we were kind of picking apart like the Call of Duty 4 beta, and he was talking about like each texture, like maybe this is 16-bit and 32-bit, and they're using this high contrast, and it's really fascinating. So we're talking about this could be a really cool video, a new feature for game videos. It's Smena takes on name the hottest new title, and he'll talk about, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, he really breaks it down. I mean, it's also interesting in context with your guys' game because it's like, this was cool, or we didn't do this, we did that other thing, or like, how are they doing this? I wish we could do that kind of thing. Like all of that kind of stuff. It breaks apart technical parts of the game that you hadn't really considered or thought about before, but that guy is like crazy hardcore. Like I always see him playing Gears of War. I mean, even now even now, like, and he's really good. He's like a Japanese player. You expect to be able to stomp all over him.
Exactly. Or like to like kind of hide in the bushes and snipe from far away. But no, he's in there in the mess. And so, actually, when we were playing Gears, like we can move on to other things, but we don't talk about Smeta the whole time. But we were playing co-op one time, and obviously we have to stop at every corner and anytime we go into a new area. And so one thing he does is he uses like a sniper rifle, he uses like a machine gun to shoot off in the distance to check the hit detection to see what's real and what's not.
Right.
And so by the end of like near the end of one of the chapters, he was running out of ammo, so he would like tell me where to point and like where to shoot to see which was real and what was not. And so, but he was really impressed with the work that Gears did. I mean, that came out of nowhere for him, at least for like from a Japanese perspective. It's like,
Gears still looks
who are these guys?
Amazing. Even it was a year ago now, which is forever in video game terms, and the fact that it looks as good as it does is pretty impressive. So I mean, if there's any game to study, that's it. I think it's just cool that some people at Kojima Productions are looking at these games, these Western games, and actually learning from them. And that's something we talked about on the show about Metal Gear Solid 4. It seems like with the controls and stuff like that, it definitely seems like people finally said, okay, what have we not been doing with Metal Gear, or what we do last time with Metal Gear? It's, okay, what is the best that anybody's doing, this kind of stuff, like that over-the-shoulder aiming view. We were talking about like it could be tweaked a little bit better to be slower, but just the overall concept works so well within the Metal Gear game. It's no longer like, oh shit, I've been seen. I'm gonna like immediately run away, or like, oh, I'm just gonna spaz out and start lying down on the ground and stuff like that.
Or even worse, I'm just gonna load up my previous save file.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, no, I actually have a chance to actually like take these guys down in like a methodical fashion and think it through, and then go hide. It's not an all-out action game, but it's like, okay, I can shoot guys. They're not off screen somewhere where I can't see them. I don't need a red line pointing to where they are and that kind of crap. It's like, okay, I know this is familiar. Like, and it wasn't a rare occurrence when like writers and friends of ours have told us when they play the demos, like, combat for the first time in Metal Gear has been fun, right? And I think that's. Combat and boss battles have always been fun, and I think they were just referring to the main gameplay. Right. And I think that was really encouraging when we heard that. But of course, we're going to do some more tweaks. I'm excited about getting to the office tomorrow because I've got literally like 4 pages of notes I've taken. Just like seeing like basically taking notes of like when people were laughing and like when people were having a good time with the demo, and then when they're ready to throw the DualShock 3 at me over certain other things. But I mean, overall the response was very positive, and I can't wait to get back and tweak a couple things. So is there a chance for the public to play? Is there going to be a chance for the public to play the demo in any kind of form? Yeah, I was thinking about that because I knew you were going to ask me that. So I was thinking, how am I going to respond to this one? And like anything I say beyond what I'm going to say is going to like incriminate me, and like people are going to know what I'm hinting at. But all I can say is, as of tomorrow, we're going to start working on the English demo. But whether however you're going to be able to experience it, that's open for debate and open for speculation. But hopefully I can make an announcement about that soon. But right now the focus is on making the English version. That's cool. Good news. No matter which way you cut it, I mean, whatever form it takes, like the chance that people have some kind of way of getting to it is definitely good news. Yeah, the message boards are already exploding right now. I hope so. Well, I was going to ask you if you guys saw anything else cool at this show. I mean, the Marvelous booth actually had a few things. There's a new game from the Odin Sphere team that has a name I won't even try to pronounce, but it looks, very much in that same style. It looks cool. It's the Wii game, right? It's a Wii game, yeah. And then No More Heroes also for the Wii that they're doing here. The Ubisoft just announced they're doing played surprisingly well, and I say surprisingly well because I'm not a fan I'm a fan of aspects of Killer 7, but not the gameplay so much, and so that was kind of a surprise. There's like a survival horror game too in that same booth. It's like Rainy Woods or something like that. It looked cool. Space Invaders Extreme, I think what a lot of people were talking about, is just kind of a cool little novelty thing. And then there was a bunch of things in the Sony booth. Echo Chrome, the motorcycle game just drove by. No, but Echochrome. I think White Knight looks really good.
What's up with Echochrome only had like one unit, like play unit on the show floor?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they could have had 10
Right.
and still had massive lines for it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's always a problem every year with Sony's booth because they always have so many games, you know, with the PSP and PS3. So, and you know, Little Big Planet was there, and it was they were showing some new stuff, and I think that game was really shaping up to be something cool. I'm excited for the beta to start soon. Yeah, I mean, I'd say Halo 3 as well, but like people are playing that back in America as they listen to this, which is killing me right now. Like the idea that that every kid probably knows what the ending is, and I'm going to have to come back and somehow not find that out.
And this podcast is going to have to compete with September 25th, that dreaded day when.
That's right.
When that big game comes out.
Yeah. Well, you can say now that we talk about Halo 3. So
I wasn't talking about Halo 3
in the podcast. What's
September 25th. That's when Company Heroes Opposing Fronts comes out.
That's right. Oh, of course. Well, now you can post it on their message boards. And,
I'm pumped for that, man. It's gonna be a tough debate if both those games come in at the same time.
Yeah,
what am I gonna go for?
You're a huge fan. What'd you play through that first one like 3 times?
Yeah.
2
Well,
times?
I'm going through it on hard mode, and so which is a rarity for me. I never play through games twice.
Right.
Even BioShock. I mean, I loved it, but I don't know if I'll be able to play it through a second time. It's just something about that game, Company Heroes. So I don't know if there's a lot of PC game players out there, but I'd really recommend checking it out.
You're an RTS guy?
And I'm not really an RTS guy. I mean, I love StarCraft, but this is like the first game RTS I've ever gotten into since StarCraft, which is, was that 10 years ago when that came out too? I mean,
yeah.
I'm feeling old.
Yeah, but that's cool. I've heard that like Sam Kennedy is also like a big fan of that game, and I mean, of course, all the Games for Windows guys love that stuff. But I've heard it now from a few people that are not by default like big RTS people. So,
like, I had a chance to check out the Microsoft booth at TGS, and I regret that I didn't have a chance to say this on your One Up Yours podcast, which, by the way, went up on I think on Saturday or Friday last week.
Time,
yeah.
So if you haven't checked it out, check out the One Up Yours podcast, because myself and John, who were the guests on the program, and we talked for 2.5 hours about Metal Gear Online. We talked about TGS, our impressions, what was a hit, what was a miss.
Yeah.
But anyway, I regret that I didn't have a chance to talk about this on that show. Is that, you know, everybody knows that Xbox is struggling in Japan, but I have this feeling it's just not lack of quality. I mean, you walk through that booth and there's like quality games left and right, but you know, pretty small lines, not a lot of excitement for. And sure, a lot of them are Western developed, or most of them are Western developed games. But I mean, it's almost tragic in a way, because you see Assassin's Creed, you see Kingdom Under Fire, which is always like a really quality game. You see Ace Combat, which has been really popular with Japanese, but it'll probably end up selling, you know, a lot less than it would have if it was on PlayStation. Halo 3 was, you know, it's obviously a quality game. I mean, like, it's not from lack of quality. It's just something that's missing, and I kind of want to talk about with you guys on that.
Yeah.
Show,
I mean, I think, you know, even Blue Dragon, I think is a good game. You know, it's maybe not a great game, maybe not like change the genre,
like an international blockbuster.
Right. It's not a Final Fantasy, but I think it's actually like a really, you know, good game. I don't think. You know, maybe from a Japanese audience perspective, like that the 360 is not lighting shit on fire here, but you know, they did show some games, you know, Infinite Undiscovery and Lost Odyssey that, you know, that could be really cool, and you know, a few other things like Rez, like a lot of like a cool little fan favorite things, Rez, Ikaruga, that kind of stuff that's cool. So yeah, it's not like they have no presence at all here, but it is, you know, just compared to really the booths were like Sony, Konami, Level 5.
Yeah, well, every interesting game you just mentioned is Japanese, and that's, you know, part of it. I mean, those are the few games that they're interested in, but like you know, all those American games that were there, you know, we're still looking for the cure to the Japanese allergy to Western games, and you know.
It looks like they almost have that sixth sense, not only for Western games, but also for Korean games, because I doubt that the Circle of Doom, that new Kingdom of Fire, is going to, you know, set sales records in Japan. But I mean, it looks interesting, and I had a chance to meet one of the developers at Blue Side who's working on that game, and they just finished their mastering submission, and so that's coming out this year. And
wow,
you know,
they
worked on 99 Nights too, which I think, you know, had a lot of potential too. So I mean, I'm really, and he said something really interesting to me, like, how he grew up always looking at Japanese development, but now that Korean development is getting so much stronger, it's almost like, you know, he's pulling inspiration from other Korean developers, and so like they've almost pulled as much inspiration they can out of Japanese developers and doing their own thing. And I've been reading articles about how there's so many different development houses in Korea.
Right.
And that really could be the new hotspot.
Did he say what the hell went wrong with 99 Nights?
Oh, I know what the hell went wrong with 99 Nights, and he knows too. But
enlighten us.
Can we know?
Well, that was one of my titles. Like this, you guys would have laughed. You guys laugh now, but at the time when it was announced, or when people were seeing the first trailer, this was like a huge title, like a very Mizuguchi.
Oh,
and
I remember, but I do laugh now.
Yeah. And this was one of my most anticipated titles of that year, and it was just lack of time. You know, like they weren't given enough time to work on the title, and for some reason, like the powers that be wanted that out. And whenever it came out, it wasn't even that big of a it wasn't like a Christmas release or anything like that.
It was spring or something.
Yeah, it was like, I know that they were itching for that big hit to like keep those 360 sales going.
Right.
But I mean, I think they sacrificed quality, and like they had the foundation for something really special. And I hope they just get another chance at us at some point. Because like that Dynasty Warriors genre is just waiting to get broken open. Yeah, but you know, it's also funny because I love talking to my team about like these certain games. I'm like, well, why don't you guys do it in a different universe? Like no, we need that Chinese history. Like without that, we wouldn't know who we're supposed to be fighting and stuff. And it's really interesting. And also, when I was many moons ago, when I was an English teacher in Japan, one of the guys I'd worked with, who's a history teacher, he said, I hate games, but I love Dynasty Warriors. I'm like, what? You play Dynasty Warriors? He's like, no, I don't play it, but I thank that game, and I thank Koei for enlightening my students about Chinese history, because he says like it's been like a national phenomenon where the Japanese students like knowledge of Chinese history is like quadrupled in the past like 5 years because of Dynasty Warriors, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, but they're like learning about the guys, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He was like in the Ming Dynasty in the 3rd century, and the teacher's like, oh yeah, and they're like, yeah, he can shoot lightning bolts out of his fingers. Exactly. And he had a special move where he could cause an earthquake. Not exactly, but yeah, the first
it's
part.
It's funny, he didn't mention that, but that's pretty cool. But general consensus on TGS 2007. I mean, I feel like we had a really good show. MGO, I think, had a breakthrough at the show where people had a chance to get their hands on time with it. But what's the general consensus of the show? From your colleagues and
yeah, I mean, it was. I think people were. It seems like every year that people are like, oh yeah, this year wasn't as good as, because it's like E3 too. The same thing happens. Everybody builds it up in their mind. Right. But there were a lot of things that were announced before the show, like Ninja Gaiden 2 and stuff like that people kind of don't attribute to the show because it kind of leaked out as the week before, and some of the Namco stuff. But I mean, Sony didn't have too many surprises. Mm-hmm. You know, there weren't too many things. But I mean, I think they did have a fairly solid stable of stuff that we kind of knew about. Like White Knight, I think, besides being kind of a crappy demo, I think that game is going to be really cool. And then the two Metal Gear games obviously were like the first thing that kind of everybody was talking about. But then some of the PSN and PSP games and stuff like that afterwards, and then a few of there were enough at least like little third-party surprises to keep it interesting. I think it was relative to other TGSs, maybe just a little less underwhelming in terms of new stuff, mm-hmm. right? Because like last year we were talking about Metal Gear. We were talking about Metal Gear not being playable and stuff like that, but we were talking about it. We were talking about Gran Turismo. We were talking about Little Big Planet. Like these things were not. They're not like new splashy announcements or new IP or stuff like that.
And last year we also had a hardware launch, with the PlayStation 3, which always helps in the excitement.
Right.
And so, I mean, that attributes. I think this is one of the few years where we don't have any new hardware. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if it's like it's a reversion, like a new edition of the DS, like the DS Lite, or anything like that. There was nothing that this year, which is pretty rare.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there were very, very few Wii games, of course. Again, this year, which is really too bad.
Yeah, it's tragic. I think in a way. Yeah.
But overall, definitely not a bad show. Maybe a little less than years previous, but.
It was a little bit one-sided this year, I would say, in that, not one-sided, but I mean, it's pretty unanimous that, and it's, I guess it sounds bad saying this on your podcast, but I mean, Metal Gear, I mean, it was clearly the game of the show. Like, I don't think too
It
many
doesn't
people
sound
would
bad to
argue.
me.
No, I know, but I mean, it's sometimes there is some.
Ryan's
debate,
holding a gun to John's head right now. And listeners can't see that.
I'm lipping. Well, to wrap things up, this is like a new resurgence for I think for this podcast is that now that the playable's out, I can actually talk about how the game works and plays. This is going to bring new life to the show.
Yeah,
so,
what are you going to do in the coming weeks?
Well, I don't have to tread water anymore. That's the thing.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it's a struggle to put together a show every week, but I'm excited because you can pull out literally so many different things from that playable that some press haven't even touched on and stuff like that. So that's what I hope to do in the next.
Start talking about the humidity and the wind direction, among
stuff
other
like
things
that.
that are
Exactly.
shown in the map
Stress
screen.
level.
Yeah, stress level.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about the
injection
thing.
We'll have to save that for next time.
Oh, all right.
But just so you guys know, I mean, this isn't set in stone, but I'm looking to upload both the trailers, MGO and MGS4, on the PlayStation Network next week, so you can see that in high def and see that on your big screen. So hopefully, and just thanks to the guys over at SEA who have been really cool about letting me submit stuff really last minute and really letting me go through all that red tape without slowing down the process. And it's we always do things up to the very last minute.
Right.
So just be sure to check that out next week. I'm looking for that Thursday demo or that Thursday upload for the trailer. So, all right, guys. Well, I think it's about time to call it a night.
Yeah.
I know you guys, John or Mark, you have to get ready to go back home.
That's right.
Let you get back to San Francisco. John, thanks again for joining me on the program.
Anytime.
And I guess we'll see you guys again next time you guys are in Kansas.